Hi, I'm Jeff Greenspan, Managing Director of Financial Modeling Service. Today's topic is the time value of money. Let's get started. If you have any questions about today's topic, you can reach me using my email address or the phone number on this screen. We're going to cover a number of topics today, all around the time value of money. We'll discuss how to look at it intuitively, the concept of discounting. We'll look at it mathematically, including figuring out the rate of return. We'll talk about a heuristic called the Rule of 72. And finally, we'll get into the important parts about your personal discount rate, net present value, and how IRR is a special case of net present value. So which would you prefer? $100 today or $100 a year from today? How about if I offered you $101 a year from today? How about if I offered $200 a year from today? If you're like most people, you understand that $100 today is worth more than $100 a year from today and would rather take $100 today. But again, if you're like most people, you understand that $200 a year from today is worth more than $100 today, and so would defer that gift until a year from today. The basic concept is that time corrodes the value of money. The average inflation rate over the past 20 plus years has been about 2.5%. You can see that a loaf of bread that used to cost 75 cents is now over $3. And the same holds true for a Ford F-150 truck. In addition to inflation, we have uncertainty. My crystal ball is murky. I cannot predict what will happen to me in the future. Therefore, I would rather take $100 today than wait a year to get $100, and that has nothing to do with the inflation rate at all. Between the two of them, inflation rate plus uncertainty, we come up with a rate for discounting future cash flows. We have some formulas for calculating the future value of money invested today. We also have formulas for calculating the present value of today of money invested in the future, or money returned in the future. We won't go over this particular slide. The Rule of 72 is useful because it allows us to figure out how long it takes for our money to double. If our interest rate is 10%, we divide that into 72 and we can determine that our money will double in 7.2 years. This is very useful when trying to calculate things in your head to figure out how long you need before you can retire. Now we come to the concept of net present value. The important thing to understand here is that we each have to determine our own discount rate. We'll get into that in a little bit. But basically, if I invest $10,000 today and expect a stream of 5 $2,500 payouts at the end of each of the next 5 years, and my discount rate is 7%, I can discount all of the cash flows to their present value and determine what my net present value is. So $10,000 spending today is minus $10,000 today. A year from now, I get $2,500, but I have to discount it by 7% using the formula that we showed earlier, and so on all the way through year 5. When I add up everything in the present value row, we come up with a net present value of $250.49. Projects with a net present value greater than 0 will enhance your net worth and should be undertaken, unless a funding restraint requires selecting from among multiple projects. It's important to recognize that only cash flows are considered in NPV calculations. For example, depreciation is not considered until its recapture affects your taxes. The internal rate of return is another value you may have heard. It is a special case of the net present value where the NPV equals 0. Here we have a case where we spend $10,000 in year 0 and receive a stream of cash flows at $5,000, $2,000, $3,000, $1,000, and $4,000 at the end of each year. Our internal rate of return is 16.83. What this basically means is if my discount rate is 16.83%, my net present value is 0. Internal rate of return should never be used alone to make investment decisions. Finally, we come to the hard part, and that's calculating your personal discount rate. If you have a non-mortgage debt, like a credit card, that you do not pay in full every month, or a car loan, your discount rate is equal to the highest interest rate that you pay. If, on the other hand, you're reasonably responsible and pay your credit cards in full each month, your discount rate is typically equal to the expected earnings over time of your investment. Most people use the average return on the stock market, somewhere between 6 and 10%. Your discount rate will change over time. It will get lower as your tolerance for risk decreases. Therefore, your discount rate is an educated guess that you use to help understand the net present value to you of an expected series of cash flows. That's it for now. Thanks for listening.